Hi, I'm Ash and welcome to this review of the PPC M1R race wing. Now this wing has been out for a while, and to be fair, I've had it in my possession for a few months now. It was kindly lent to me by PPC UK for this review. I should also mention that PPC do now have a newer race wing available that is a full double skin, which I may look at in the future, but for now let's talk about the PPC M1R. As the name suggests, the wing itself is based on the M1, which I have previously reviewed, so if you haven't seen that, then check that out on my channel. The main changes are that we have a partial double skin canopy that runs about halfway down the inner side of the wing. Additionally, we have a fully battened canopy with battens running the full length of both the inside and outside canopies. These are there to maintain the aerofoil of the wing for efficiency and speed. The inner canopy has drain holes at the trailing edge tips to flush any water. We have a boom only connection, and the boom is the same as the M1R handles in terms of diameter and materials used. It just provides for a slightly stiffer and lighter weight wing overall compared to if it was fitted with handles. The boom is comfortable to hold, of the right diameter, and provides a good connection to the wing. We have the same two sup valve inflation system for the strut and leading edge, and in this 5.5 metre example, inflations are to 10 or 11 psi. This, matched with the same leading edge and strut materials as used on the M1, make for a very stiff wing, just like the M1. Unsurprisingly, the extra inner canopy and full battens do make for a heavier wing than the M1, which was towards the top end of wing weights for me, and that's if we ignore north wings, which are heavier. Canopy materials are relatively thick compared to other wings, and this provides for quite a hard wearing canopy, with a little sacrifice to weight as a result. We also have a load spreader on the rear of the strut to stop the canopy from stretching. Canopy tension is held in place with the battens, so rather than the leading edge under inflation causing tension in the canopy, on this wing there is some of that, plus the full canopy battens, creating a very deliberately shaped wing section. We have a decent sized front handle, nice protection for flagging, and it comes with a wrist leash. Construction is all very nicely done, and PPC do seem to make very well put together products. My only complaint overall from the construction here would be the weight, as the M1 wasn't the lightest of wings and this comes in heavier. But this is not designed to be playful, it's designed to go fast. So does this really matter in a product focused on racing? Hopefully this was communicated in the opening credits of this video. Normally I'd put some manoeuvres in here. For this video it was just going straight at speed, which is really what this wing is designed to do. Note we do have two windows in the canopy, and whilst I'm not a fan of windows, these are very much needed for racing, and they are well proportioned and in the right position for visibility downwind. The canopy is mostly box sectioned, but we do have some diagonal seams at the rear of the strut to help with high loading in this area. PPC have not put any leading edge protection areas on this wing, but this material is very hard wearing anyway. When we flag the wing out on the front handle, it is stable, but there is a definite downward pressure in the wing, so I expect this will affect tacks. We do have a standard review structure for wings. For this particular wing I may be skipping some of the sections because this wing is just not designed to do jumps or particularly designed for advanced jibes and that type of thing. It's designed for racing, it's designed to go fast, and therefore there are less areas where it needs to perform, and trying to review it in areas that it's not designed to do doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let's get it on the water and start with pumping onto foil. The low end on this wing is not as good as normal wings that don't have a partial double skin. I would say it is below average in this regard. It isn't terrible, which is what I was expecting, but it does give you less than you might be used to, and it takes longer for apparent wind across the wing to turn into forward pull. Add to this that it does require more effort than a normal wing due to its weight, and it's not really generating power quickly to help you as you gather speed. So overall it does feel more work to get up onto foil, but it wasn't as bad as I expected. In terms of pump technique, it's a little more technical with wing positioning to catch the wind so that you can start your pump, but the pump technique, once you are orientated correctly, is just a very normal energetic pump. The clip you are watching currently is when the wind dropped a bit and I just couldn't get started, whereas on an equivalent 5.5 meter normal wing I would have got up relatively easily. So I feel I've covered low end on this wing, but what about high end, gust stability, overall stability and balance between the hands, as these are very key areas for a wing you want to go fast on. It needs to inspire confidence to go fast. In terms of balance between the hands, the wing is indeed very nicely balanced. It is also absolutely rock solid once you're up and flying, and it just doesn't move around. Gusts translate directly into speed, and you can push and push this wing into higher winds and it will just keep delivering until you just can't hang on to it anymore. So in terms of high end, it is an absolute beast, but this does come with one quite significant caveat. Now what I'm about to describe is one of two characteristics of this wing that I really didn't like. The first of these is that this wing behaves itself if you keep it sheeted in. If you sheet out, then the wing can immediately feel like it wants to backwind and push you off your board. This is a very uncomfortable feeling because in some gusts you have to back off just to keep your foil in the water, and when you do this the wing reacts what I would say is badly. It luffs up and it tries to backwind. It's unbalancing and uncomfortable. So it is very much a wing for the brave. You have to keep the power on or be ready for it to misbehave if you sheet out too much. The best combat or remedy for this I found was very short harness lines, as it gives the wing less ability to rotate and backwind when you sheet out. So let's talk briefly about jibes, as we do need to do these in races. Starting with ordinary jibes, it flies a bit heavy and it's relatively slow to rotate due to its weight. It's okay, but I mean it's not a jibe I would pick to use in a race particularly, because it's not the fastest of jibes and it's a bit ponderous and a bit slow due to its weight doing an ordinary jibe. Thankfully it did do quite a nice Heineken jibe, and again whilst it's a bit heavy and needs manhandling, it does do it cleanly. The nicest jibe to do was the race or laydown jibe, which it performed very well. Okay, so let's talk about tacks, and if you're a follower of the channel then you will know that I love a wing that tacks well. Unfortunately, this is where we run into the second characteristic of this wing that I really didn't like. There isn't any way to dress this up. This is the worst tacking wing I have ever used. The tack you see me trying to get on foil in these clips, I can do 100% with a normal wing. It's a bread and butter move that I don't even think about on a normal wing. I was trying to get one good one on film for this video and I failed. The problem is that when you tack this wing, it immediately backwinds and it either crushes down on you from above or it smashes you off the board backwards. It was really unnerving and unpleasant going into the tack, not knowing quite how hard the wing was going to react, and more often than not I just couldn't control the pressure it was exerting with just one hand. I was trying to do the hand swap really quickly so I could get both hands back on the wing to try and control it, but this didn't work very well either. And I'm sure there probably is some technique to it, but this one element put me off so much that I just didn't have the will to go out and keep trying in winter conditions, because I was just ending up off the board all the time. Now, this one characteristic really made me question whether this is suited to racing, because a good fast tack in a race is a race winning move. But I have seen racers tacking this wing, so clearly there is a technique to it that I didn't solve in the sessions that I ran on this wing. If my local spot was more suited to going fast, and it isn't at all, it's really choppy, then I would probably invest more time in it. But as my local spot is not suited to racing or indeed going fast, I didn't invest the time in working out how to tack this wing successfully. So if you're a racer looking at this wing, yes, it does go very fast. Yes, it makes much better upwind angles than a normal wing. Yes, it jibes perfectly well. And yes, it has an incredible top end and great stability, providing you don't sheet out. On the downside, you're going to have to relearn how to tack and get used to the sheeting out characteristics. But if you can overcome those, then you for sure will be going faster on the water than someone using an ordinary wing. So my pros for this wing are its speed, its upwind angles, its stability, and its amazing top end. The cons are the low end is below average, the sheeting out characteristics, and the poor tack, where you're just going to have to learn how to tack again using this wing. In terms of who it is for, well, as a free rider or anyone involved in any of the other disciplines, wave, freestyle, whatever it might be, you just wouldn't put up with the negatives of this wing. You really have to be a racer and care most about speed, stability and top end to be considering this wing, and that's with the caveat that you are prepared to relearn how to tack it. I'd like to thank PPC UK for the use of the wing for this review, and I'll see you on the next video.